We're getting ready for our cruise down to the Isles of Scilly on our pilgrimage back to one of our favourite places. We should have a little bit of wind tomorrow, and we have the key thing we have to do tomorrow is to get around Wicklow Head, St. Margaret's Bay, and that will be our kind of push-off point, or our place where we start our journey to the Scillies, which is basically dead south of St. Margaret's Bay, near Carnsore Point.
By DunLaoighaire Harbour Walls. It is 10:30 and we are just abeam Docky Island as we are going through the Sound on our way south on our adventures. Not a puff of wind, hence the reason why we are motoring. We're just coming up to the entrance to Killiney Bay, otherwise known as the Bay of Naples of Ireland. Today is the 23rd of June and we're off on our adventures. We have Bray Head here in front of us. We are taking the closer to shore route in order to make use of the slacker counter current. There's currently a north going current, and by being in closer to shore it is not as strong, so we are making good speed. We are doing 4.7 knots speed over ground. We're currently in 10.3 meters depth and we have 8.4 knots from the north. Lovely. Greystones Harbour. We have just passed it at 12:15. The village of Greystones. And you can just see the tip of the Sugarloaf Mountain peeking over. Sails are happy. 5.9 knots speed over ground with a southerly wind of 10 knots. And we're currently in 9 meters depth off the shore. 6.6 knots speed over ground, and we have 10 nautical miles to go to Wicklow Head. Good afternoon from Wave Dancer as we are making our way down the coast of Ireland towards the Isles of Scilly. John is making noise in the background with his bar chocolate.
Critical supplies.
Critical supplies. Always have chocolate on board, especially with John. We are making very good progress. We are currently doing 6.5 knots speed over ground. We have 10 miles to go to Wicklow Head. We cast off from DunLaoighaire this morning at 9:45 in the morning. As you can see behind me, we are about 400 meters off shore, and you have the Sugarloaf Mountain just here. Any wise words that you want to add?
Woohoo!
Are we on holidays yet? Have we hit holiday mode?
Yes, we definitely have. Thankfully.
Our new flag and our new life buoy. Trying to look super gorgeous. Not to mention, John, handy model are PLVs. We are north of Wicklow Head and the tide is just after turning, so we are now looking at our options. The high water slack at Wicklow Head now.
Want to clap?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's more current out there.
Okay.
We tack out.
Rightio. Go outside of Horseshoe Buoy because of the depth of sand just off Wicklow Head. Feeding time at the zoo. It's lunch aboard Wave Dancer and we're having chicken Caesar salad wraps. We are at 1338, just north of Wicklow Head, and we have Wicklow town over here, and we've just put away our foresail in order to make it around Wicklow Head. And against tide, with a south going current of tide and a north going wind. So even though it is wind over tide situation, it is very comfortable because the tidal current is very light at the moment. The wind is 10.5 knots. We are currently doing 5.7 speed over ground knots, and we are in 12.3 meters depth. Our new traveller lines that we set up yesterday are working a dream because they are a narrower gauge than the original traveller lines that we have, and it makes it easier to use in the cam locks. Wicklow Head and the old lighthouses. What a beautiful coastline we have, right on the nose, just for getting around Wicklow Head. It is 14:34 and our sails have just gone back out again.
7.8 knots.
7.8 knots of speed over ground, 9.8 knots of wind. We're currently in 13.3 meters of water, and John is burning calories doing all the sail maneuvers. On the Wicklow coast, coming up to beautiful sandy beaches of Brittas Bay. We're on a heading of 199 degrees compass. Mussel beds near Kilmeacle Point. They're quite extensive, and we have come in shore of them. We have a current depth of 8.7 meters, and we're just passing the last of the mussel beds there now. Stunning coastline.
So we go out a bit, we should be able to get a good tack to it, you know what I mean?
Yep.
And actually the heading there is what? 193 magnetic. So we're on 80 at the moment, obviously.
Okie dokie. Are you cold?
And we're chilly.
Yeah.
Wind.
With the wind. Are we updating our travel plans for this evening?
Yes, so we're not going to get past Cahors Point before the tide changes, the direction of the tide. So rather than feeding into the tide, we're going to go into an anchorage near a small harbour called Pollduff, and we'll drop the anchor there and wait for a fair tide. So probably spend the night.
And it's good in southwesterly winds as well.
That's right. It has, if you've got offshore winds, it's fairly calm in there, and obviously the lighter the winds, the better. But if it's onshore, apparently it's very uncomfortable, and obviously you wouldn't have very much shelter there either. So.
Wexford, a land of beaches. Oh, so many beaches. The sunny southeast, and you can see why it is such a popular holiday destination for the Irish. So basically we have 7.71 nautical miles left to go to our anchorage in Pollduff. We have been taking the inshore passage along the coastline inside of Glasgorman Banks and the Arklow Banks. It has been great to be able to see so much of our beautiful coastline. Ireland has such a beautiful coastline, and it is a privilege privilege to be able to see it, especially in good weather. Our current position inside of Glasgow Banks. Just passing the hometown of another Irish sailing channel, Fairweather Sailors. Coming up to Cahor Point, where the windmills are. We have 16.7 knots of wind with tide, so it is getting a bit lumpy out here. And of course, it has to be a headwind. Our sails have gone down and it is 10 to 6 in the evening, and we are 3.29 nautical miles from the anchorage at Pollduff. Rooney Point is just in front of us here, and just north of Rooney Point there is an anchorage that is not even mentioned in the cruising guide. There is a danger off Rooney Point that we have to watch out for, which is called Rooney Rock, and there is an underwater shelf that extends out 100 metres from Rooney Rock, the visible part, and this causes overfalls. So we will be going outside of that area in order to avoid the worst of the overfalls.
So the high water rise is like 1.2 to 0.8 meters, and this small pier, it's about 0.5 miles northwest of Cahor Point, provides no shelter in onshore weather. Itself, offshore conditions is reasonably comfortable in southwest winds for yachts heading south, waiting a fair tide. And coming from the north, keep the pier head bearing not less than 210 degrees to avoid a sandpit off Glascarrig Point, only 5 nautical miles from the pier, north of the pier. And it is about 0.8 meters deep with a rock at its outer edge. And anchor in able depth north or northeast of the pier head.
Using our all-powers power pack for charging our batteries whilst at anchor. Yay! No more running the engine.
So we're basically anchored 3.3 meters. There is a southwest wind of about 9 knots, and we're currently making 0.1 speed over ground, just because the wave action is is moving as 0.1, not over the ground. And we have actually anchored 100 meters just north of the Pollduff pier. So exactly where we want it to be. And great job by Yvonne. Well done.
Preparations for our dinner this evening, which will be boat toasties. Yay! Ham, cheese, egg, onion, all together in a sandwich and then toasted on a frying pan. Woohoo!
Yvonne's special toasty. It's so tasty. Thank you, honey.
No problem. Enjoy a hot sweet tea as well.
Will do.
Welcome to the anchorage at Pollduff in County Wexford. We are 100 metres off the north of the pier. And there's a little restaurant and a bar up here as well. When we arrived, there were children gravestoning off the pier. Congratulations, Captain John, for getting us here safely.